new topic today. The name of the chapter is The Homecoming. It's been many days that we have done a chapter from book, so that's why I planned to do this chapter. It's a very nice story by Rabindranath Tagore, and let's dig deep into what it is. First, we'll discuss about the author, that's Rabindranath Tagore. Rabindranath Tagore was born on May 7, 1861 in Calcutta, which is now known as Kolkata. He was a Bengali poet, short story writer, song composer, playwright, painter, and essayist. So he did many work, and all of them, he was basically a creative person, and all these works were done by him, and he was praised a lot for all his creative works, whether it was any song, whether it was any composition which he made, whether it was anything which he wrote, everything was very nice. He was mostly known for his poetry, novels, essays, short stories, dramas, and thousands of songs. So basically, we know that he was a painter also, he was a song writer, he was a composer also, but he was mainly known for his writings. He was a writer most prominently. Internationally, if I talk about his success and fame internationally, Gitanjali. This is a collection of poems. Gitanjali is Tagore's best collection of poetry, and it was for this that in 1913 he became the first non-European to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature. So, because of these collection of poems, he was also awarded with Nobel Prize, and this was given to him for literature, and he was the first person ever, he was first person who was a non-European who was given the Nobel Prize for literature. This story is also written by him, and this has a very nice detailing, and characters are also very interesting. Let's see how the story unfolds. So these are the major characters in the story. First, and our major character or our protagonist is Phatik Chakravarti. This is a teenage boy of 13 14 years, and the story revolves around him, that what happens to this boy. Then we have other characters in the story, Phatik's mother, and what happens in their home. This is the major plot of the story. Then we have Makhan, who is Phatik's younger brother. Then we have Phatik's uncle, whose name is Vishambar, and we see him very often in the story. Phatik's aunt, she's not a very major character, but then she is an important part of the story. There are other characters in the story also, that's Phatik's friends and other people of the town, but they are not really important. These are the major characters which we are going to talk about. About the story. Now I have given you the text, and the part which we have read today, we'll be discussing about only that part. So that's the first part of the story, and these are certain points which were discussed in this part. The story begins against the backdrop of a rural setting in a village nearby Calcutta, modern day Kolkata. So this is a story of two boys or a boy's family, and this story is set in Kolkata. The protagonist is our main character, major character. Phatik Chakravarti is carrying out acts of mischief with his friend. So we see in the very first scene itself, we see that Phatik is creating problems. He is, roaming around with his friends, and he's just doing a lot of mischief. Then he enters into a quarrel with his younger brother Makhan. So over that piece of log of wood which they were planning to play with, or which Phatik and his friends were planning to do mischief with, Makhan spoils their plan, and because of this, Makhan and Phatik, they have a lot of quarrel. After all this happens, a boat carries a middle-aged man with grey hair and dark mustache. So now, after this fight of Phatik and Makhan, we see a man coming to the shore. He was not really an old man; he was a middle-aged person, and he asks Phatik about the whereabouts of Chakravartis. But the young lad refuses to answer. So he asks him that, do you know where Chakravartis live? Or he's asking about the family. But Phatik, because of his fight with Makhan, he was disturbed. He did not know that how the mother will react. So he was sitting alone and he did not answer the questions of this man. Later it is discovered that the man is none but his maternal uncle Vishambhar. So later on he got to know when he walks back home, he gets to know that this person is no one else, it is his uncle only, and the name of this person was Vishambhar. After that, Vishambhar stays happily with the Chakravartis for some days. So this is what happens, that he is staying with his sister and the two children, and then they're having a good time for few days. So after some days, he offers that he gives this offer to his sister that, do you're having problem with this boy Fateh. So let me do one thing. I will take him to the town. I'll take him to the city for his education. So Calcutta was a big city, and these people were living in village. Fatik and his mother, they were living in a village. So when he got this idea of moving to the town, moving to the main city, he was very excited. Being a teenage boy, he was very excited that he will now be going to the city. So Fatik's joy knows no bounds. Before leaving, he ensures to make peace with his younger brother. So before leaving, he says, "Okay, now we've had a lot of fights. Now let's be friends." And then he gives him toys like fishing rod, kites, and marbles before he actually leaves for Kolkata. And then he leaves his own place and he reaches Calcutta. And much to his dismay, he's unwelcome at his aunt's house. So we end at a place where Bishambar's wife, his aunt, is not really happy to see Fatik, and she is, she's not giving him a positive vibe. She is very prejudiced about his presence and she is not very welcoming. With this, we end the part which we read today. And apart from this, you have to do your class work, which I'll be sharing in the form of PDF. Alright, thank you, students.